Hi, my name is Tracy Rachelle Cummings. I am a victim of sex trafficking. I'm 51 years old. I have been going through this off and on throughout my life. Most of them by police officers, judges, lawyers, shelters, military, such as for human harvesting, everything from my organs, mine and my son's organs, internal fluids, hair samples, skin samples, uh, toenail clippings, fingernails, everything. I've been pregnant. They have taken each one of my children by force. They were never born um, to sell them, of course, or to do human experiments, which has been their favorite. Without authorization. No paperwork. They think that because they have our birth certificates, because we went to the doctor for when we were ill or harmed, to do blood tests, that was theirs, that they owned us. Uh, I'm making this video because my son and I are constantly, for the past almost a month now, we have been surrounded by the same ones who have been chasing us, all for them to get me back. They will stop at nothing to get me back. They will use my son in any way to separate us, because that's what they do. They have gone after me, my son, my daughter, my two granddaughters, my twin sister, and possibly my nephew. My dad was told that he gave a very large amount of money several times for our safe return, and they never got it. They never got us back. They would tell my son and my friends that I was dead, or that I was not his mother. I didn't exist. Um, they would tell my daughter the same thing. Uh, they would get my family or parts that were my family. I no longer have anything to do with them, and they don't claim me, which is fine. They, after my mother died little over 7 years ago, they said that I had raped her, that I was the one who killed her, I had beaten her, and I had stolen from her. I had moved home from California to Oregon to keep my promise to take care of her. So I told everyone, if mom and dad, either one of them ever get sick, and they need me to take care of them, then I'll move home. So that's what I did. My mom got sick. She had heart failure and kidney failure from pretty much lifelong heart problems with her diabetes. She was type 2. Well, it's family hereditary. It's my twin sister, identical twin sister, mirror image, and I was given 0% chance of living once born. Stacy had about 1%. She had a smaller heart. Mine was extremely enlarged. It took up most of my chest. My daughter has heart problems. My granddaughter has a heart murmur, a small one. My son has multiple heart attacks, which runs in his family too. Had multiple strokes because my migraines are so severe that I've had it since I was born. My twins isn't quite as bad. They would use my twin against me too, and they do this in the most sacrilegious, just the worst ways. any Christian or believer could think of. They would call me an abomination, dirty nigger scavenger because of my native heritage. Um, Anything and everything they could, they would do. One time when they would make they would make the businesses all around Lodi put up no trespassing signs on their businesses. If they didn't, then, of course, there would be consequences. All to make sure that they had a reason to come pick me up. Every time they did, I would never be issued a ticket. They would just take me and, in my eyes, molest me because they would do at least 3 to 5 pat downs between the time they showed up and the time I got to the police station.
In between your inner thighs, further up and finger it?
Yes. They would run their finger across my crotch area. A male cop would. The female one, Sandy, was seriously obsessed. She would run around Lodi and in front of other deputies saying, yeah, I rape her. I rape her every chance I get, anywhere and everywhere. Everyone around town knows this, and I get away with it. They don't do a damn thing. They can't save her. So on and so forth. I may have messed up on a few words, but you get the idea. I have been hung, brutally raped, front and back, but in their words, everything in the tool shed: hammers, knives, forks of all kinds, saws, hand saws, sledgehammers, ice picks, hoses, just to name a few. And they would do this in the middle of town, recording, saying it's a movie. Everybody's with this. When I get another time when they would pull me over for nothing because I was homeless, it would come over dispatch when they would call in my name that I have a protection order. It is and always has been in full effect, not to be cited, incarcerated, or removed, no matter what. Me or my son, anybody in my family, or my twin sisters and her son. This was signed in 1970, approximately a little over 5 months before our birth. And yet, dispatch says, by the second, third time, you're going to do whatever you're going to do. So here's a case number. And every single time, I would hear them mumbling in front of me. Well, you got in this case because I've got to set up, make somebody pay for the crimes that we do. They admit to the background that they get away with murders, of taking the homeless people and murdering them, taking them for experiments such as banded halos, which is kind of clear about gay fic, and it goes around to temples, embedding in there. If you do multiples, it makes it easier to hypnotize or to manipulate your mind and plays false memories so that the person you were was before, you are no longer. And that means that they can set you up to stalk and harass and kill or kidnap, whatever, just examples, other people that you don't even know. So they get their little followers. They would, Sandy mainly would follow, and once I got my son back, she would follow him and I around town in her own personal car, and she would, when we'd walk by after getting lunch, okay, baby boy toy, time's up. I told you only 15 minutes. And I told you not to get your mom anything to eat, not to be nice to your mom, not to speak to your mom. It's time for you to go. And she's a police officer. Why is she stalking us in her own little pink champagne or rose champagne Honda Civic, or if he gets a Civic, a Court or whatever, and saying this to us. And I went to go turn around, tell her off, and my son said, "No, you'll make it worse, Mom, because once you leave, they'll come and take me, and I don't know when I'll be able to make it back to you." We were never allowed to have any holidays together or birthdays. Maybe I got one birthday. He got out and came home, and I came back. It was late at night. Well, somewhere in the middle of the night, or early evening, sorry. But I was still pretty happy. They would take my cell phone if I was caught singing around town. Of course, every time I got a new ID, they would take that. My Medicare card, my Social Security card, my Medi-Cal card, anything and everything that was mine. My Social Security debit card, and then they would say, "You're lucky to have it that long," which is generally about anywhere from 2 months to maybe 6 to 8 months out of almost 5 years of being on the streets. Well, taken away because you're not saving money to get off the streets and get on your feet. It costs money to be on the streets and being homeless. And I was providing for me and my son. And when he got a chance, well, usually he would go and sweep the gutters or the alleyways, the recycling, whatever he could to get us extra money for cigarettes or a soda or take me out to lunch, whatever. Yeah. Um, they, when we go to the hospital for numerous injuries that they had given me during my arrest, and I never got hostile. I would usually go willingly. But once they started touching me too much, I would stop. That's not a legal search. That's not a legal pat down. Oh, shut up, like, and just all these things all the time, and then they bump up against my crotch again and say, "Okay, Levi, I got your scent on me. I got her scent on me. I'm sorry. You better give it to me good. It's my turn." They would trade my actual medical records with somebody else and use my insurance. And when I'm having problems with my heart, and they're telling them, "We need to get her up to cardiac unit immediately." No, we can't do that. We got somebody else in her place using her name and her records instead. My heart was barely even beating, but they still released me. They would say blood pressure of over 200, over the high 100, sometimes low 200s, was normal. That is heart attack level. I know because I've had many of those. Oh, everything is normal. My elbow and my wrist were severed from the handcuffs, and always something filthy and disgusting. But I would always say, "Leave my son alone. You can take me, but leave my son alone." Of course, they never did. They thought by taking every one of my family members, all my friends, everything what little I owned away would make me weak. but it didn't. It made me more angry and more determined. I don't know how many times they've killed me, but too many. Every time my son came back from being missing and they take him, he would have crosses all over his body. A new one, or two or three, however many, or an ace bandage on his wrist or his foot or whatever, bleeding, knots on his head, so on and so forth. And whenever I came back and I managed to get free, I would have upside down crosses, and of course, the numbers and letters carved into my body. I had on my stomach at one time when I went to Salvation Army to go to the bathroom. I looked at my stomach because I could feel pain. I'm like, right up by my belly button. It said fatty, fatty, and everything carved in there. And it's like, really? They, they would call me an incubator and say I was a surrogate mother and I was stealing their body, their babies, anything and everything. And I don't know how I could steal their body. They were talking about my body. This is my body. I own it, not them. I never signed any papers for surrogacy or for adoption. They wanted to broadcast the birth of my babies, which they denied I was even pregnant with, because they'd give it to somebody else and they'd go cash in or whatever. Saying, is she witnessed or watched the live birth of the devil's baby? Is it going to have bat wings or is it going to have chicken wings? They call me rack of lambs, chicken dumpling, everything like that. Teresa, little Harry Ray, down under, can you come and play? Come and play. Meaning for my crotch area. They would run through this, drive by and run past me saying, how's it feel to be raped? How's it feel to be raped? By a rifle and a handgun at the same time, front and back. And thankfully, another person at the store said, how's it feel to actually rape somebody who was just sleeping and not doing anything with her cat? How's it feel to do that and treat somebody like that? Never mind, you know what? I can see. So thankful for them that we had several that actually stood up. All right, Sandy, we heard that. You head off this way and I'll go this way. It's that way. Either way she goes, we got her and we can take her. All the time. They didn't like it when I found human remains, which is generally femurs or three fingers at the Salvation Army cut off. Human scalps, still wet and pink underneath. A human mandible. Heart. I can smell the difference in I could smell the decomposition of another body right down the road on the highway. But I wasn't going to go near it. And I chose not to pick up the human mandible because every time I would call the police to report something like this, I would get arrested. I wouldn't be taken to the county jail, which was Stockton. No, their county jail for me and some others is French camp. And that's usually where they take people who know too much. And they're trying to reform and conform to their manner of speaking and thinking and doing things, which is in a very perverted way. They would give you medications and all the other inmates and everything, medications that really wasn't even theirs. They I would wake up and I would have bruises on my inner thighs, all over my arms, my back, the back of my legs. They have white cloaking outfits. You can see them white, and then they flip the switch and it blends in with any um, scenery and stuff. Some of them are camouflage if they're up in the trees, like light camo color, but you can still see the difference. Or at least I could. They would shoot me in public with actual guns. I have a scar right here being shot across the street while I was sitting in the park, not bothering anybody. In front of all the passerbys and everything. I would be told to walk on water. I'm telling you all this because my son and I are planning on going back to California. We are now in Arizona. But I'm saying this now to ensure our safety because every time we go there and come back, or even go to Oregon to visit our family, they follow us. They take down our license plate. They take pictures of us. They, you know, just they just do it in groups. They say that they know how to make sure that our bodies are never found and there will be no body parts. Well, sure, that's easy. They say they're going to put whoever, me or whoever else, in an institution because, all homeless people need to be in mental institutes, which they did twice, which actually was for me to heal because I couldn't get decent care at the hospital there, except by one doctor, and he chased him down and told me not to leave with her. Don't you leave with that police officer. Tracy, don't you leave with her. And I could just turn and look at him, hoping he would hear my thoughts. If I don't, it will get worse. They will make it worse on me. I'm really not in the mood. That's it. I'm filing a report in your name. I'm gonna make this video short. Um, I'll pick up on more of it, or take up on it more some other time. So I hope you watch this, and if you see me, you know who I am. Me and my son. Thank you.